Introducing Tony and Other People, a podcast. Here's your host, Tony Levesque.
Jeremiah Papineau. Is that how you say it?
I think so.
Yeah. That's how you've been saying it for a while now.
That's right, yeah. I think it's stuck with me.
Now, don't take offense to this. Yeah. This is going to sound really racist, but you look very French.
Yes, I get that a lot, actually. Yeah, it's mainly because I wear a beret and carry a baguette. So,
as every Frenchman should.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So you're not all French.
Well, actually, I'm not even French at all. So, right. I mean,
really?
Yes, I've been living this lie, Tony. And you're going to break the news now.
As
here.
A fellow Frenchman, I'm ashamed.
I know.
You're ruining the.
I'm preparing a brief statement for later today, so we'll issue that.
Good.
Yeah, actually, no, I'm adopted, and
okay.
and
Did not know that.
Yeah, fun fact. Yeah, adopted and actually Filipino and Irish.
Okay.
Of all things. So
I was gonna guess which type of Asian.
Yep. And nobody
wouldn't have been Filipino.
Yeah, and nobody ever guesses Irish either. So
yeah.
Except for they see me at the bar. No.
I was gonna guess Japanese actually.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Or even the Korean Peninsula.
Yeah, we have. I also know my biological family too, and on the biological side, there's a pretty big mix. It's a real big tapestry. We have because my biological father is full-blood Filipino, and my biological mother is full-blood Irish. And on my father's side, there's a ton of different. He's got several siblings, and each of them seems to have, gotten into a different culture, I guess, along the way. Because I have cousins who are half Filipino, half Japanese. We have ones who are Puerto Rican. So there's again, like, it's a real big tapestry.
Well, this is kind of a strange area because there isn't really anything but white people out here.
I haven't noticed that at all. No, it's
No.
Yeah, they hide it well here. Yeah.
There are a few other ones I've seen around town.
Yep. Yeah. I'm one of those other ones. I usually get asked if I'm the dentist in town, and I'm like, no, that's not me. So sorry.
No accountant jokes or
no. Occasionally, I always joke that I'm the only Asian bad at math, apparently. So I didn't get that gene somewhere down the line. I don't know what it is.
So you come up here from where? You're not originally from the area, right?
And that's the weird part. So I kind of am here. So I'm originally from Carthage. Well, I dial it back even further. Like when I was before I was adopted out, I was born in Middlebury, Vermont. So of all things, my biological mother is actually out from the Adirondacks, out from the J area. So fast forward 2 months into my life, I got adopted here, and I lived in Carthage for many years until I left. I think it was 2007. With my career, I moved out to Plattsburgh, which ironically I was out that way more. So I got to learn more about the Adirondacks and Burlington and Montreal and all that. So I've been here for a while. Graduated Carthage in '98. So go Comets,
I didn't realize you're so young.
Yeah. Well,
can't tell with the.
Well, it's because I carry myself as an old person. Yeah, that's what it is too. Yeah. It's all the wine.
Yeah.
So.
You age well.
Yeah, thank you. I'm pickled. I think that's what it is. It's preserved
right now.
So, yeah, well, you get up, first thing in the morning, you got to have a little something.
No. I can't get people to come over here and hang out and drink my coffee. Everyone just wants to bring their own. Yeah. And I have good coffee.
We're going to have coffee. I'll have coffee. I'll have coffee before
we'll take a little break.
Yeah, I like that.
Get some coffee in here. So what got you into the newspaper industry?
I mean, there's many different things that got me into it along the way. I've always had great encouragement from my parents along the way.
That goes so far.
It does.
It really does.
Yeah. They've always been very supportive of anything I've ever tried to do. And, it goes back to when I was a kid and I love spelling. I was just that cool that I love spelling. So, I remember my parents helping me, go over my spelling words and all that sort of stuff. And, entered into spelling bees and stuff like that. And I even remember my grandmother on my mother's side, when I was a kid, she would send me, and I can't remember exactly how this started, but she lived down in Oneida with my grandfather, and she would send me the paper down there and send it up to me and ask me to find the mistakes. I'm not, like I said, I'm not really sure how this started, but I'm like, okay, all right. And here I am probably, I don't know, maybe 7, 8 years old, something like that. I don't know,
already the editor of a newspaper.
Yeah, exactly. And I would try to find the mistakes. It was kind of like a fun little game. So when we would go visit, I'd bring her the paper and show her the mistakes that I found and whatnot. And it was, I'm not really sure what ever prompted that, and she's passed away several years ago now, so I can't really ask her. And I never really had the forethought to ask her before, but it was this neat little thing. And I remember doing that. And for some reason, maybe I have this need to always be right. I don't know. Don't ask anybody that, because I'm sure you'll get the answer. but yeah, I got kind of into it that way. And over the years, I've always, I've loved to read. I've loved to, I love the English language, and I love telling a good story too. Whenever you have the ability to tell a good story, or like with the news business, when you get to share a good story, it's great because you're informing people. But it's weird. I mean, I started out as a newspaper boy years ago. I mean, many years ago, and
they still have those, or?
Yeah. Well, and it's weird because back in the day, all the papers around here used to be afternoon editions.
Right.
So I would hop on my bike, grab my carrier bag and deliver it out to all the customers. And like nowadays, when they switch years
Seems
ago,
like it's always some guy in a car.
It is. It really is. I mean, it's, if you're
The worst car. So you can hear it 2 miles before your house.
Yeah, I've heard that one
Mail's
before.
here.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, great. Yeah, just like clockwork, Yeah, oh, there's taillights out again. Huh, okay, all right. Yeah, it's, so nowadays, I think it was, I can't remember how far back it was that our paper went, our daily paper went back to a morning edition there, and it was just, it was tough for the kids, I'm sure, because kids love having that extra income and stuff like that. But it makes sense for the business to have a morning edition. So
right,
yeah. But so yeah, it's kind of evolved from me being a carrier years ago. It's kind of like going through the whole gauntlet of news. So
I hate to be the one to break this to you, but the newspaper has kind of fallen by the wayside a little bit.
Oh,
I know.
I don't know if the mic picked up my heart just breaking a little bit there. It's
as in anything, there will still always be people that want to read the newspaper, and also ways for the newspaper to evolve.
Yeah, definitely.
A lot of it's online now. I see you guys have a presence online, and a lot of people read that. Do you think there will always be a physical newspaper?
It's tough to say. I mean, my gut tells me yes, because there's always going to be an audience for it to some degree. Whether it be the people who are just tried and true readers who like to have that feel of the newspaper in their hands, or whether it's a period where we're going through where it's readership could be down, but then all of a sudden something revives it. A lot of times it's usually like the hipster culture. All of a sudden, well, it's not cool to read online anymore.
Nostalgia pays. Man.
I'm telling you. So
did you see they're ready to bring back cassettes now?
Yeah, I did.
Certain people are releasing their stuff only on cassette.
That is an interesting way to go.
Don't you think it's harder to find a cassette player than a record player nowadays?
Well, not if you drive my car. but yeah, it really is. I mean, vinyl is like really big now, and you've seen, all these machines come out. I mean, you can get them pretty much any store you go to. But yeah, cassette players, it's like trying to find a VCR.
Yeah.
So
I don't know how I feel about the vinyl. Especially new. Like you go to a store and buy a brand new vinyl album. Yeah. Now people want it for the nostalgia. It sounds better, so they say. Yeah. Now, I understand that if you're listening to your dad's old records, you know what I mean? Because you have heard the song a million times on this album, so you know where those cracks and pops are. Yeah. So I think getting a brand new vinyl album, you might get that nostalgia of the not clean sound, but I think what people are really looking for is that exact album they had when they're a kid. Yeah. And I don't think they can really pull it off with a new album. I mean, it's a novelty. I think it'll go away.
Yeah, I mean, and it's probably like a lot of fads and things like that. It'll be here for a little bit. And it'll die down, and then a new wave will come through again. And it just, I think as the generations pass, it's just going to keep coming back. It's one of those things. But apparently cassettes now, so that's I all I remember is just going back with a pencil and like trying to re-spool the cassette, and that was I don't think I'd want that back.
No,
I don't miss that in the least.
I don't miss driving and then having to pull a cassette out that is all tore up in there because you got to pull over and fix it, especially because it's always your favorite one.
It's like playing Operation. You know?
You can't just yank that sucker out of there.
You got to be very
while you're
precise.
driving a car.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like that doesn't work. It work very well,
and it never plays right after.
Oh yeah, ever. No. You always hear like that crinkly sound. Yeah. I do remember that. So nostalgia of like hearing that, but not. I wouldn't want to hear it all the time. I like the music the way it is now. You know.
I use so much. I use CDs a lot in my car,
right?
And my daughter is almost 4, and she loves the Beatles.
Oh yeah, nice.
And I wonder where she got that from.
Yeah, right.
And so I have CDs of the Beatles in the car, and we listen to CDs so much. Once in a while, I'll turn on the radio. Now, when you go out of range a little bit and it starts to crackle up, I love this. My daughter says, "Dad, the CD's skipping."
Nice.
Which a 4-year-old shouldn't even know what a CD is nowadays.
But I think I'm a firm believer. I mean, I've got 2 kids, and I'm a firm believer of try to raise them with as much knowledge of culture, different cultures, and talking about time periods too. I mean, my boys, they know stuff from Sinatra, right on up, and it's different. I'm not a big country person. I listen to some country like every once in a great while, but I'm more, I don't know, Weezer and but Beatles and
why is that? Because that was your childhood, right?
And that's it. You
sticks in your brain.
Yeah, I mean, anything from like the Green Day stuff in my generation, you listen to that. But I tried not to like define myself by one single generation of music. Right. So, and I credit my dad for that because he was big into all sorts of kind of music. I'm trying to think of. I can't even think of one right now. But it was weird. I remember he actually had like even an Iron Maiden cassette or something. I'm like, and my father had an Iron Maiden cassette. I'm like, what?
That's awesome.
But so it's just all this stuff. I can remember his music. I think I'm a firm believer that I think that you kind of your musical taste is shaped by the people you have experiences with throughout your life, whether it be from family or whether it be from somebody you've dated or whatnot. There's certain songs that remind you of things or whatnot, and then certain kind of tastes you pull from other people too, and it helps you kind of define your own taste. And I think I can't remember what else I've listened to over the years, but it's if you ever listen to like my whatever I've got either on my phone or in my CD collection, because yes, I still have a CD collection too, so so you're not alone. Stuff like that. I mean, it's kind of interesting. They're probably thinking, what is this guy all about? You can't get a read on him, but yeah, it's interesting to. I guess I'm eclectic, I guess in that respects. So,
well. Depending on my mood, it really depends on what I listen to a lot.
Oh, totally.
There's times at work, there's one day like Thursdays, I have a lot of monotonous work that I don't need to listen to while I produce. Yeah. So it's just putting files together. So I'll have like an hour of just boredom.
Yeah.
It's monotonous work.
Right, yeah.
And so I'll go on YouTube and type in full album.
Yeah.
And find, something usually from the 90s is what I really like.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But depending on my mood, and that could make my work go really well or make me shut it off and switch this. I like a lot of like heavy stuff from the 90s. Stain's first album.
Yeah.
And I work at a country station.
Yeah.
So somebody will come in, what are you listening to?
But
shut my mind off. That's all, man.
Well, but you also appreciate music in all forms, So it's like, while it may not be your genre that's your favorite or whatever, but you can still appreciate that it took somebody time to make the music and whatnot. So I'm not a big country music listener, but I.
Do you find too, as you get older, that you become more open-minded about music?
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, there's stuff that I wouldn't listen to. It's just like eating vegetables as a kid.
Right.
It's like sometimes you wouldn't.
No
just,
way.
Yeah, no thanks. But all of a sudden, here you are, years down the road eating Brussels sprouts, So
do you think that's laziness? Like, it's on my plate. I've got a fork.
Yeah.
I'm just going to eat it. I'm hungry.
Like, some days, yeah. Some days, and then some days the laziness is like, I'm just going to order something.
I had a burger the other day, and I can't stand to have a burger with lettuce or tomato. I just want cheese and something bad for me, maybe bacon, onion rings, something like that. But
okay, I hope we're eating after this because now I'm hungry. So.
After coffee.
Okay, there we go.
And I went to, I forget where we were at, but the burger came with lettuce and tomato. And this is how lazy I am. I don't like it on there. You know, I picked up the burger and ate it because I was too lazy to take it apart.
Look at that.
And too lazy to order it the way I want. I'm so lazy nowadays.
Yeah, that's, you know, that's what happens when we become dads and stuff.
Yeah.
We're like, you know, we had so much energy before. And it's like,
they steal it all.
I know.
You have to use it for such stupid stuff.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's a different world when you're a dad. So.
I look forward to 10 minutes of peace because you just don't get it.
Yeah.
And that's why I like my job so much.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I'm going to work. All right.
I do love my family and I love being home as everyone does.
Yeah. Of course.
But my kid, it's clockwork. 5 minutes is the most I get, and then I hear, doop, 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 doop. Dad.
Yeah.
What now?
Yeah, you can almost time it.
The TV's not as loud as I want.
It's like, well, let's fix that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I will tell you, as a parent with some older children, you know, because my boys are just turned 15, and the other one's 16, going on 17. Sounded like a Sound of Music reference there for a second, but it gets easier. I mean, in some respects, there's a little more to deal with, but I mean, honestly, when they get more independent, in some respects, you kind of miss that, like,
oh, hey, come hang out with me.
Yeah, it's like all of a sudden it's like, you know, a Cat Stevens song.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun though.
It's got to be different with boys too.
Yeah, you know, and see, the thing is, I don't really have a frame of reference,
right?
Because, you know, I mean, I always said, you know, it would have been nice to have a girl, you know, and you know, someday we might still have, you know, kids, but you know, the boys has been easy in the respect of, well, I was a boy, well, I'm a man now, I can relate to this, you know. I mean, I understand what, you know, issues you're having, but yeah, I think I would have been totally clueless with a girl. And if we do end up having a girl, then boy, that's going to be out of my league totally.
Yeah.
How do you do it?
I don't know. One day at a time, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got friends that have boys, and they're like, "Oh, you're lucky." I don't know, because I'm not looking forward to puberty at all. I want nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna, Heather, you take care of this,
please, for the love of God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's got to be. I imagine that's going to be way easier with boys, and you don't have a frame of reference, so it's
that's just it, you know. I really don't, but I mean, like, I can say, like, you know, raising kids who are down teenagers, it didn't feel like that whole transition was that bad,
right?
It didn't feel like there was like this.
Well, nowadays they know way more than they should anyway.
Way more.
And what you're teaching them is, Dad, come on.
Yeah,
they're like, I knew that for years.
Where have you been? You missed the boat. That was in health class, like in 6th grade. Okay,
yeah,
thanks. Great. Is there something you learned that I don't know? I mean,
and I don't know how much of a fan I am of schools teaching that, because I know teachers.
Yeah, it's a little different when you know the personalities behind the curriculum.
Yeah,
so, yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I could see that.
So do you plan on doing the newspaper forever? Or are you going to start your own thing?
No, I mean,
make a blog? Those are over too, aren't they?
Yeah, I know. I remember. I guess I missed the blog bandwagon.
Yeah,
there's still people that are still doing it. I'm like, isn't that kind of? I'm not a hipster or anything like that, but isn't that kind of like passe now?
Isn't that like the worst thing to be called?
Yeah,
hipster.
Yeah, hipster. You know, it's like
that's our generation's hippie, I guess.
I guess so. I mean,
you slacker,
knowing the trends before everybody
hipster.
Else. By the time I know the trend, it's like dead and buried.
Well, we live in Lowville, so that's already a, you know.
And things move at a little bit slower pace here, which can be nice, but it's.
I love it. I love living here.
You know, you know, that's the thing. It's like I remember when we moved here, when I took the job to come back here, I had options of where I would live and whatnot, because, you know, managing both the papers in Lowville and Carthage at the time. You know, I was thinking, well, maybe I would live in Carthage, but I'm like, no, I mean, I love Carthage. You know, I grew up there, but I want to try something new. And, you know, growing up, I wasn't in Lowville a lot. I mean, I didn't come here a ton. I would go to Watertown or whatnot.
Well, being from Carthage,
yeah, you know, it's just a hop, skip, and a jump, which, you know, Lowville is too. But, you know, as a kid, if you want to,
Lowville didn't have the Salmon Run Mall.
Oh, I know. I mean, you know, so that was the thing. You know, so some of us were kind of mall rats back in the day. But so I mean, I wanted to move to somewhere that was, you know, in the area where I'd be working, and I'm like, well, Lowville's nice, you know, and it's kind of cool because I remember the first time really driving through when I was seriously looking for a place. I remember driving down State Street into the village just past the church, and then like you've got the the statue there. You've got and of course the movie theaters here, and it's just like there's like this kind of Americana feeling, which is kind of cool. And it seems like I don't think the crime rate is high here.
Right.
I mean, we have a few small things here and there, but it's like, all right, I've got to think not only what I like, but what my boys are going to like too. So, and what what's best for them. And I think we made the right choice. I really like it here.
There is crime here, like there is everywhere, but it seems to be more drug related, which is horrible for kids.
Yeah, definitely.
But the problem with the drugs is they are the hardcore. That's where we really have the problem. Plus, and drinking and driving, which is, I think, huge everywhere.
Yeah.
And I don't think you see that as much in the cities because
True.
there's public transportation.
Exactly.
And that's one thing I think this area is lacking is in public transportation. And they really do try. I mean, you can go to Utica for $1.
Yeah, exactly.
Or I think it's $1.50 now.
Yeah, and like Old Forge in the summer when they do the bus runs, you can drive out there for $1.
How many kids in high schools around here work at the Enchanted Forest?
Yeah, exactly. That's nice, to have that ability. But you're right, though. I mean, I think a lot of it stems from sometimes there's a disconnect as far as what there is to do and the people looking for something to do. Because how many times do you hear the kids always say,
"There's nothing to do."
Yeah, now I sound old saying that. Yeah. The kids say,
That's right. I just had this conversation with Dean last week. So, but it's all in. If there's nothing to do, growing up here, you find something to do.
Yeah.
We go out. I used to go out in the woods and play with sticks.
Yeah, exactly.
There's always something to do.
There is.
And I think that's when great ideas happen, is when you're bored and you gotta try to find
innovation,
something to, occupy your time with.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think boredom is such a bad thing. You can't tell that to a teenager.
Yeah,
But,
they don't want to hear that.
And they've got way more things that we didn't have to keep from being bored.
Oh my God, I know. I mean, I can't imagine. I remember back in the day of like having like first an Atari and then Nintendo.
I just sold mine a couple years ago. Yeah,
jeez, those things are. I mean, if I wish I would have kept mine, because I can't imagine how much they're worth these days.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. But I mean, that was the stuff we had back in the day, and the kids, only the ones who were kind of discovering for the first time the old cassettes and all that, they never knew the trials and tribulations of taking the cartridge out and blowing into it, and then putting it back in and hoping it works and patting the side of the machine. Yeah.
All the tricks of the trade that everyone knew the specific way. No, of course. Here, let me do it.
Yeah, exactly. No, I've got this. Don't worry. Yeah.
It's one nudge to the right and then blow on it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Is that that's what she said? No, I don't know. Is that allowed on here? I don't know.
You can say whatever you want.
Okay, good.
I forgot you're such a huge fan of The Office as well.
I am. Yeah. The Office, Parks and Rec. Like you, I'm a lover of comedy. But yeah, and it doesn't have to be highbrow comedy in the least.
No.
So,
yeah. Why do you think it is, like, Netflix has so much on there, but I find myself watching The Office for the 8th time?
I agree.
Why?
I don't know. Maybe we're creatures of habit. And I don't think it's just us. I mean, I think there's probably a lot of people that are in that same mold. But I mean, that, like when we're cooking at night or whatever, I get home from work and Lauren and I are cooking. We'll maybe put The Office on or put Parks and Rec on, and it's kind of nice because it's familiar. We both have watched it. We both know it, and you don't
have to focus on it.
Exactly. If you're sitting there trying to put on a movie or something like that you've never seen before, your attention's kind of diverted a little bit. So, but like that, it's kind of familiar, and then you can hear that line or something like that makes you laugh, and it's nice. It's comforting, I guess.
Yeah. I had this theory. I just thought about it the other day, and I think the reason I like watching The Office and shows like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia and just leaving it on, like I fall asleep with it on every night. And when I come in the next day, I don't care what episode it's on. Yeah. I know the whole show.
Yeah.
But I think it's immersing yourself into that world. The characters are what make those shows funny.
Definitely. Yeah.
And I think every time you watch it or listen to it, it makes you feel a part of the group. And it makes you... back in the back of your head, you have that idea that, well, maybe they'll do this instead. But you've seen every episode, you know how it goes.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's not about catching things in the background, because that was the first, half a dozen times I watched.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think it's that almost like I don't feel alone. There's a group of people around me, great characters and real characters. They seem as real as Kevin can be.
Well, yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, in a world where everything's changing, we have so much, drama and political issues, things like that. Sometimes going to that, I hate to say that term, safe space, but that's kind of what it is. It's like you get something that you can pop in, you know how it ends, you know how it is, and there's certainty to it. So it's, I think probably to some degree it's comforting, but yeah, I totally get what you're saying when it comes to like, oh, maybe they'll do this time. No, it doesn't work that way. But
my wife doesn't understand how I could laugh at the same jokes, the same situations, but it's still funny.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know. There's ones I just totally. And you even go beyond that when you go like on YouTube and you watch like the outtakes for some of these ones, and it's just, I mean, if you think The Office and Parks and Rec are funny now, you watch some of the, we have a blast. I mean, like my kids will watch some of this stuff and they'll gut laugh. I mean, you can tell that it's like a sincere laugh that it just, and it's funny, and the same thing like I told you, like with music, I try to a degree have them watch things that are similar to what I watch or whatnot, and kind of include them so that way they can kind of expand their knowledge of things. Obviously the stuff that's appropriate for them. I mean, the kids aren't watching American Pie or anything like that,
right?
Because I'm like, even though they're 15 and almost
there's plenty
17,
of time for that.
I'm thinking they probably have snuck and watched it at a friend's house anyway. So, but I'm like, I'm not going to be the one.
And how weird is this going to be to watch with my dad? Yeah,
I can still remember being a kid and like watching something, and I can't remember what the heck the movie was. Maybe it was like Stripes or something like that. And there's nothing more awkward than watching Stripes with your dad and John Candy's scene where he's mud wrestling with these women. I'm like, yeah, I don't really know how to react to this. Yeah, I'm just not going to look at my dad at all during this. So
just awkward silence.
Awkward silence. Yeah.
Yep. Good movie reference though.
Yes. It's good. It's a good one.
So how much do you love doing the dad jokes with your kids?
Oh my God. Way more than they appreciate it, I'm sure. But yeah, it's funny because I don't realize I'm making them sometimes. And so I think that's when you've truly evolved as a dad, it just comes second nature to you. So you just, I get a few, pity groans, or pity laughs, I guess. More groans than laughs, but yeah. It just comes with the territory. You know how it goes.
Yeah. My daughter just got the other day I'm hungry, Dad. Well, I'm dad hungry.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Dad. she finally got it. Made my day.
That means the world. Because she's at the age where everything is magical and everything's wondrous and all that, and
literal.
Yeah.
Oh, everything you say is literal. She takes it seriously.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. Sure. Surely you can't be serious.
Sure. Oh. So what do you do for fun?
Well, for fun, I mean, it's honestly, I live a pretty boring social life, which is,
so glad I got you on the show.
I know, right? I know this is going to attract the listeners, from all over. The boring life of Jeremiah. That'll be my autobiography.
Sounds like a good book.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I'll have to pen that someday.
Maybe your kids can write it.
Yeah, they'll ghostwrite it and tell me how awfully horrible.
Got home.
Boring.
Dad was watching The Office again
for like the 500th time, laughing at the same joke over and over again. But no, I mean, for fun, I mean, honestly, it's tough. That's actually it's a tough question, I should say, because I'm trying to think about what I really do, because my life is typically, work, come home, spend time with the boys, or my girlfriend, and that's pretty much it. I mean, we'll go out to the movies, we'll go to the gym, things like that, but it's not like I go spelunking or rock climbing or something like that. It's like, there's really no, I mean, like the boys and I will go golfing every once in a while, like when time allows. Like, it's something that, my father always liked doing, or always still likes doing. And so we'll go out. We'll try to make at least a couple times in the summer to go golfing. I'm not any good, but I like.
It doesn't matter for golf.
Yeah. Well, that's just it.
Isn't it nice just to get outside? And
it's beautiful.
Screw around.
Yeah, you go to even right down here from you. It's Cedars. You have the nice golf course, and you can go out there and play 9, play 18, and just relax, and like let all the stress just melt away. And then you're having a good time because if I'm there with my dad and the boys, and we're just laughing, having a good time. But stuff like that. I mean, we'll even play video games together and things like that. Go on walks. But and I try to get them involved in the community too. Because I want them to understand that, we can't be just a world of takers. We have to give. Which sounds really corny when I say it out loud, but it's just
it's true.
Yeah. It's tough because, I mean, I think honestly, if you get involved with the community, it really helps you kind of have a better respect for it and better understanding. And there's a lot of people in this community that do a lot of stuff that you don't think about, and stuff that gets done. And you and I, we've worked with people all the time. It surprises you how much they do. I mean, I give
and
credit.
you end up taking advantage of these great things that you don't, you don't know where they come from.
Yeah, you just take it for granted sometimes. Like, oh, well, that got done. Well, who does that?
Like the cream cheese festival.
No, I don't know what you're talking about. No, that's a
You're
good
gonna pull your hair out.
Oh my God, whatever's left of it. No, it's been great. That's been an awesome event to be a part of, and we've had some really great people who have laid the path for that, laid the foundation for that. And I like what we're talking about, people who have done a lot in the community. I think like Donna Smith. She's been an instrumental.
She is way more than just the mayor.
Oh my God. I always joke with her. I'm like, how do you find time for sleep at all? Because you're constantly with stuff with your kids. You're constantly she's the one out there who's at the Four Corners, and she's weeding the flower beds out there. And I'm like, where do you find time? But that's the thing though.
She's so down to earth
too. Oh, I know. Yeah, and that's the thing too. It's like you can do these things, but also be sociable and down to earth is not always a given.
Right.
So that's pretty cool.
So Donna, if you want to do this show, get a hold of me or Jeremiah.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I think she
it
could be
is
your
too.
next guest there. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. But yeah, festivals, things like that. Those are great things to connect the community too. And we need more of that. We're lucky we're in an area where you do see a lot of that already. But it's great to see.
It's nice to have events that are for everybody. And the fair is another great thing because there's kids, there's adults, and everyone can have a great time.
Exactly.
I quit drinking about a month and a half ago, so it's easy for me to play that up and say, well, situations where there's not alcohol.
Yeah, right.
But sometimes that can be a really great thing too.
Yeah.
I go to the Boonville Fair now every year for work.
Right.
And there's alcohol there. It's very quarantined.
Right.
There's not just drunk people wandering around the place.
Right.
But it's nice to have these things in your own community. You don't have to drive a couple hours.
Oh, I know.
To spend the whole day with your whole family, and everyone has a good time.
It is. Yeah,
and
it's a great thing.
The people around you are the ones that made that happen.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And it's funny. It's like, and people may not think, well, oh, we couldn't do this here, we couldn't do that here. But there's these events that we have in town and in the whole county and the community and all that happened because people said, well, yeah, we can probably do that. We've had events that have come and gone through Lewis County for the longest time. And some that are, stood the test of time, like the fair, but all it takes is somebody bringing the idea to the table and saying, let's do it.
Let's make it happen.
Yeah, roll up your
get off
sleeves.
the couch. Let's do it.
Yeah, and we've got, like with the stuff with the Cream Cheese Festival, we have a great group of people who, mind you, nobody's getting paid for this.
Right.
So they're all taking time out of their, after work or during work to do some stuff. And it's like I said, they're rolling up the sleeves and just pitching in, and that's all it takes. And I think sometimes there's this misconception that if I volunteer, it's going to take a lot of time, and I have to do this. It doesn't.
Not if everyone volunteers.
Yeah. It's everybody pitches in. It makes things better, and I think we get that here. A lot of people get that here because I see, a lot of faces, and I like the fact that I see a lot of new faces that are volunteering because it's not just the same people that are getting stuck, bearing the load.
Right.
Because that can be really daunting for people.
Well, and that's one thing I was going to bring up too, is that I've seen a lot of people leave the Cream Cheese Festival, but at the same time, those positions always get filled.
Oh yeah,
which amazes me. I mean, there's constant new blood in it, which is the way it needs to be if it's going to continue.
That's it. Because, and like I said, past couple of years I've served as chairman, but I'm not going to be in this capacity forever.
Right.
We have other people in different roles in the committee. They're not going to be there forever. And we've had people who have stepped down from the committee or stepped aside, at least in the meantime, because it can get tiring. Like I said, if you carry the load for 7 or 8 years and you're not really getting much assistance on it,
and not getting paid and spending a lot of time and not enjoying it like you should.
Well, that's it, because I think after a while, if you do have that load to bear and there's really nobody helping out with it, or if you're not getting as much help as you'd need, then you lose that joy.
Yeah.
And the time that and I always said, when you lose that joy, when it stops being fun for you, and I'm not the only one who said this, people always say this, if it stops being fun, I'll stop doing it. I think that's where, people find themselves sometimes, because some people don't want to step up and help out. And if just one extra person stepped up and did something, that would be mean the world to some people, you know. So we are lucky that we have, you know, we've had a good cycling of people who've been able to come in and help out, and
they care about it. They're there because they want to see it succeed.
Yeah, they see the value in it. I mean, that event itself, I mean, brings in, I mean, it's, of course, it's a free admission thing, but I know over time they've estimated anywhere between 10 and 15,000 people each year that comes in, and
from all over.
I mean,
for cream cheese.
Yeah, and I'm like, you never know. I mean, it's like I liken it to like almost like a National Lampoon kind of thing, you know, like Clark Griswold, you know, crossing the country to find like the world's biggest ball of yarn or something like that. It's just it's quirky, it's different, you know. I mean, because every community can have a fair or a church festival or something like that, but if you center it around something truly unique, that kind of like gets people talking about it, which, you know, so that's pretty cool that we have something like that here. So
I know they have talked about moving it to the fairgrounds with the parking, and I think one of the coolest things about it is we shut the town down.
Yeah,
I mean, the town is shut down. You're where tractor trailers are driving through all day long, and believe me, I know because I record commercials on that Four Corners.
Yeah, you know exactly how it goes.
To shut that down and just have kids wandering all over eating cotton candy and cream cheese, and
it's a great
bands
thing.
And it's an amazing time.
Yeah, they've talked
and
about
having Barkeeter right around the corner helps.
Well, yeah, that's it too. That helps out a lot.
Thanks, Dean.
Yeah, thank you, Dean. Yeah, it's great. I mean, yeah, it's what makes it unique is shutting the streets down there to have the festival. And you know, if you moved it to the fairgrounds, would it be easier to manage? Probably.
Oh,
you know, you could have all that space there and whatnot. But I think what it is that people love street festivals. You know, they love the fact that it shows the community is really supporting the events, and it really gives people, you know, I guess they take notice more when they see that, because I mean, you can pass by the fairgrounds if you're not going, you know, the main drag, you know, you're gonna completely miss it. You know, you'll see signs and stuff, but it's different when you have to, like, oh, I have to take a detour. Oh, what's going on over here? You know, and they'll stop.
Big flashing light, festival ahead.
Yeah, it's like, what? Yeah. It's one of those situations too where I remember when I first started going to the festival, and when I first came here to work at the Journal, and I remember getting involved with the chamber and working the chamber booth and volunteering there, and that was my first kind of real experience of getting involved with a festival. I was at the chamber booth, and one of the things we would ask, well, where are you coming from today? You know, and they'd be like, oh, I came up from New York. You know, I heard that, you know, that this was going on. My friends said this is a really cool event, or I'm in Utica and I just happened to hear about it, or Syracuse. I mean, people do come from all over, and I can't remember where the farthest distance was, but I remember some people have said up in Canada, like Kingston area or whatever, they come down for it. And I credit that to the fact that they had like really put the word out a lot, you know, different newspapers, different websites, things like that, and radio. And that was my first experience with it. And I thought it was really kind of neat that a small town in Lewis County can attract thousands of people
from all over, from other countries.
Yeah. I mean, it's nuts to think, but it's like, that's why that's why I have passion for it, and I love the fact that we have a committee that has passion for it too, because they see the value in it.
Right.
They see that not every community is lucky to have an event like this. So it's fun.
I think that's what makes it so successful, and just has a feeling when you're there. Yeah. It's small town. Everyone comes together to make it happen.
Yeah.
Nobody's getting rich off it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's why people will park their car and walk a mile to go walk some more and throw cream cheese at some plywood.
Yeah, it's you never know what it brings people joy, I guess.
Right.
You know, and that's fun. You know, it's clean, wholesome, and you get giant cheesecake. You know? So I mean, come on, you know.
I ran the stage for a year, maybe. Well, was part of it for a couple years.
Yeah.
And it amazed me too, all of the talent that we have in this area, within the area.
Yeah.
I know for years they searched outside of the area, quite a bit outside, to bring in musical talent. And honestly, I was more impressed with what we have here. I mean, not to shit on any of the other bands, because there was some great music there for many years.
Oh yeah,
but I think it's even more impressive to see that great music, and then realize, oh, they're from right up the road. Yeah. This is us. This festival is us.
I think that gets overlooked all too often. A lot of people don't realize how much local talent we have, or talent that's been local that's moved away, and will come back in a drop of a hat just to be able to play in their hometown or their their old community. There's a lot of talent here.
I think that's important for the kids to know too, because for some reason, I don't know if it's because of the schools or what, but kids have this idea that if you don't leave this jobless area and go somewhere, you're never going to be anything.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's true.
No.
And I see a lot of people, especially our age, coming back and making homes in their hometown.
Yeah.
And because the internet exists.
Yeah.
So you can do so much of your life from wherever you want to.
Oh, yeah.
As long as there is internet.
Yeah.
I think once that mentality sits in with everyone, the jobs will come back because the people will come back.
Yeah.
And I don't think people are leaving in groves, but droves. I said groves, didn't I?
What's in that mug?
Yeah. Way too early. I think people always come back here because it's a great area. The weather just sucks in the wintertime. If you're not a winter person,
I know.
I don't ski, I don't do anything. And I just talked to Dean about this, how I have to force myself now to enjoy the weather as much as I possibly can.
Yeah.
So as you pulled in my driveway, you'll notice I did not shovel it.
Yeah. Well, I think it's just we just consider it, passive resistance. We don't want to deal with it. We're like, nope. If we just sit there and ignore it, it'll go away.
Yeah.
But no, if you guys do that thing that you talked about with Dean there about getting group together, go snowshoeing or something like that, I'm all on board.
There we go.
Because I need to force myself to do it too. I mean, because we do live in an area where there's a lot of opportunities. I mean, we got Snow Ridge right down the street, essentially. So it's like, should we do something more in the winter? Should we just enjoy it rather than hunker down?
Yeah.
And the answer is yeah, but it's just a matter of that first
the
step.
initial, the first step. I find it's the same way in the summertime too, when it's super hot out and I got an air conditioner. I'll sit inside and watch The Office all day. When the great outdoors is right there, that there's so much to do.
Oh yeah, I mean we've got we have the Adirondacks right at our doorstep too. I mean, we can always. I've always said I want to. Do the 46ers thing, and do that, and then my body's like, okay, good luck with that, So it's like,
but even so, the wife and I used to go down to Lionsdale, down by the old Burroughs paper mill, and you can walk for a mile up and a mile down or more.
Yeah,
and they're groomed trails. You get to see waterfalls, and it's a 10-minute drive.
See, and that's something. Again, I've been back in this area for about 6, almost 7 years now, I think, roughly. Haven't done that either.
Yeah.
So it's like, and that's the thing when we go back to talking about people who complain there's nothing to do or whatnot. It's stuff like that. That's like, it's right here. It's free. You've got the ability just to drive there and have a good time outside.
And the whole family can do that.
Yeah.
I remember taking Penelope when she was a baby, when not even a toddler, a baby.
Yeah.
And just maybe not hiking, but walking down trails. And we went up to Lake Ontario and just dipped our feet in the water. Oh, this is the first time you're in a one of the Great Lakes. And, there's so much you can do. And all these little towns, especially you go up towards Alex Bay, park the car and walk to all those little shops.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I even like just stone's throw away in Krogan.
Yeah.
Krogan's got a beautiful little downtown.
Great. Yeah.
Go down, get a little Krogan bologna, things like that.
It's the world's largest ice cream.
Oh, my God. I still remember as a kid going to Wishy's and, oh, I want a small cone. Like, no, you don't. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, do you realize how big a small cone is? I'm like, do you realize what the word small is? And okay. And the small cone would be like, half your face, it feels like when you're a kid. And it was, it's still a place we like to go to, like if the boys get good grades or whatever, we'll go down to Wishy's or whatever.
See, I grew up in Lions Falls and we would go to Mercer's once in a while, which was great. Yeah. And I used to always love the Ninja Turtle ice cream bar with the gumball eyes.
The eyeballs, I remember that. Yeah.
It tasted like crap, but it was a Ninja Turtle, so.
And it was like, oh, cool. Yeah.
But every once in a while, my parents, no, we're going to drive. We're going to go to Wishy's and Krogan. That was the biggest thing. And we go over to the park afterward and get the ice cream cone covered in sand.
Yep.
And but there are things to do, and people need to take their kids to do these things.
Oh, totally.
And also so that these small businesses can still exist.
Oh, yeah, that's
because if you want to bring your grandkids to these things, it's not going to happen if you don't go.
Well, that's it.
These businesses won't exist.
Well, that's it. I mean, we both work in businesses too, where it's like, local media and it's local this, local that, and that's absolutely true. You have to support them. Like, we talk about Barkeeter, we talk about any of the restaurants downtown, the coffee shop. I mean, if you don't support them, they won't be here down the road. So that's a big thing.
Well, it's so easy, and especially nowadays, we don't have much. Nobody has any time.
Yeah.
So if you got a bunch of stuff to do, you go to Watertown and you go here and there to get all of your stuff done in one day.
Yeah.
When you can get all of that stuff done locally, it just takes a little more time, and you got to drive over here and you got to drive over there. You're going to spend a little bit more money because it's local.
Yeah.
But you're also maintaining where you live. You're making that available.
Well, I think
if you don't, it's going to be gone. Well, we're going to order everything on Amazon.
Exactly, and I don't want to even deal with that. Yeah. But I mean, that was one of my biggest regrets. Let's not make it sound big regret. When I first moved here, it was like I didn't shop at Knowles's, for instance. I mean, prices are cheap there. Not necessarily giving a shout out or a plug, but
we can do whatever we want. We're not sponsored.
Good. Okay, good. There
yet,
we go.
Knowles's.
If you're out there listening, but yeah, I mean, it's neat that everybody said, well, go to Knowles's or go to Miller's, and I'm like, okay, sure, I'll do that sometime, and I didn't for the longest time for whatever the reason, and now I still go to the grocery store and everything, and I still do that, but I'm like, when I found that, I'm like, I really need to go here. I'm like, this is really cool. And
it's easy to go in there and spend a fortune.
Oh, I know. It's
with all those baked goods just slapping you in the face.
And I love the free samples.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's great. Oh, it's pretty neat. But we're lucky that we have a place like that. We're lucky that we have the coffee shop. We're lucky that we have all these
Amish.
Yeah,
I love going in the summer, Saturdays. I believe it is at the fairgrounds.
Yep,
they have the farmers market.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Usually Heather has to work every other weekend. So I'll take Penelope, which is awful because we'll go to Knowles's and get donuts.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then eat them on the way. The whole 30-second trip up there.
Oh, yours last 30 seconds. Mine doesn't. Yeah. It's
and then we'll go to the farmers market and I buy everything.
Yeah.
The jam, the bread,
yeah,
the vegetables, the hot peppers there, and it's all from local people that grow it right here.
Yeah.
And it's not expensive.
No.
People think, oh, well, it's going to be, it's homegrown. Yeah. No, it's not at all.
And that's the big thing, too. It's like, it's right here. And again, another thing that sometimes people overlook, I mean, like I said, I've been guilty of it, too. You overlook the fact that it's right here. And a lot of times, especially at the fairgrounds, when you go to the farmer's market, it's cheaper, way cheaper. So, and like I said, the whole local aspect too, it's what makes it such a big thing. So
Lions Falls has some great stuff like that, the farmers market. Carthage, they always have music. They always have a local musician there playing.
Yeah.
So it's not just, I'm going to go to the store and buy something.
Yeah.
It's, I'm going to support local, meet friends and neighbors, listen to some local music, everything. And then you're going to drive 2 miles home.
Yeah. And that's it. And it's again, like you said, it's a stone's throw away, and you get to have a kind of an experience more than just I'm going and shopping and doing my business and then going home. You get to hang out, and
everyone is all obsessed with the vegan, the no GMOs, all that. Yeah. You're getting the most pure food you can get.
Yeah,
right down the road from your house.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, talk about farm to table. Boom, there you go.
Yeah. Now I'm hungry.
Yeah, I know. Why do we keep circling back to food? Did either of us have breakfast?
Because I'm on a diet.
Oh,
everything I think about, I can't scroll through Facebook anymore.
Oh, I know. The recipes and all that. Oh, yeah, they show you.
What gets me is anything with the tater tots and cheese, because they do everything with those now. They just throw bacon and pizza and steak in there.
You gotta stop, man. I mean, you're killing me over here. This is really good.
Well, circling back to coffee, I went to Knowles's the other day and bought some coffee from a local roaster, a Tug Hill roaster. I can't remember the name. I'll have to plug it. Is it the
Artisan Roasters in Casterland?
Yes, okay, it's on the Arts Road.
Yeah, yep. There you go.
And I was in there looking at the coffee because I knew they had it. I like whole bean. I have a grinder, a hand grinder.
Yep, there you go.
Not even an electric one.
Yeah.
And they had whole bean coffee, so I'm just kind of looking through. And the lady with her kids right next to me is like, oh, my brother brews that coffee. What kind are you looking for? And she helped me pick out what kind of coffee I like. Where else? I mean, you're not going to go in New York City and have that happen.
No.
Not to bash any cities or anything.
No,
but
I know. But yeah,
we do have it made up here.
Yeah, the personal service you get here is like, and that's what I like the schools and things like that too. Like the class sizes are smaller than a big city, so you have more
People
attention.
know each other. You know the teachers a lot of the time.
Oh, that's it. And it's neat just to, like I said, the relationships you can form in a small town are great.
And the education you're going to get here is the same as you're going to get anywhere. For one, it's New York State, so we're known for our education.
Yes,
even in small schools.
Yeah. And like I said, I think that the whole issue with having those class sizes that are smaller in a small town makes it so much better. Because as much as unfortunately that the teachers have to get they have to get all the grades because of the state mandates and all this stuff. It's just it's the attention to detail that they have with the kids. And if you have less kids in a classroom, you're going to have a much better ability to work more one-on-one with the kids or take the time.
And you're going to learn. You're going to know them.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you're going to care. Whether they pass or graduate or not. You want to see them succeed. Yeah, that's absolutely true. And then if you have more than one kid in the school district, then the older one can pave the way for the younger one. I've already experienced that. Like, oh wait, are you so and so? Oh, okay. Oh yeah. Oh, great. Oh, that can be good or bad.
Yeah. I'm just very lucky growing up. I didn't have any siblings because I don't know how that poor little brother or sister would have fared in school. Oh, you're Jeremiah's brother or sister? Oh, great. This will be fun.
My poor sisters. I was a really good student through most of school and very well behaved and the oldest. So I set the bar a little high for my sisters.
How did that work out?
All right. They're both really smart.
No, good.
And my brother, who 9 years younger than me, came up through, and he just blew me out of the water.
Nice.
But I didn't care. I was long gone by then.
Oh, there you go.
Long gone right up the road in Lowville.
Yeah, that's right.
15 miles away.
15 miles away.
Yeah. Oh, I'm almost ready for some coffee.
Yeah, I hear you. That sounds like a good plan to me.
Want to take a break?
Sure, let's do it.
All right, let's do that. We'll be back. Well, we're back, and in a good mood. We were telling some jokes.
Yeah, just a few. Just a little off-air humor.
You guys don't get to be part of that.
That's right. We have a special club.
Well, at least we got our coffee in our system now.
Yes,
it's good coffee, right?
Yeah, it's very good coffee. See, now I see why you're trying to push it so much.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, man,
I know my coffee.
That's right.
It's been a few years around it.
Yeah, I think so. Right? Yeah,
just a few.
Yeah, I miss you over there. Yeah. It's nice to go in and see
I still make coffee just at home now.
Yeah. Well, okay.
And don't get paid for it.
Oh, okay. You have a debit machine here? I'll just
No, it's all free here.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Don't advertise the. Oh man, I should take this part out.
Yeah, you might want to edit that one out for later.
So you do a lot of things for charity as well.
Yeah, I try to get involved as much.
I heard you're going to be hanging off the side of a building.
Yeah. Many people threaten to do that to me, but I'm actually doing it for, a voluntary measure. Yeah, we do the for United Way. We do Over the Edge. So it's this thing where you rappel down a building. It's the Watertown Housing Authority building in obviously in Watertown.
In Watertown?
Yeah.
Really?
It's over there in Watertown. So
it's unique.
Over by Wendy's. We did it last year. Actually, it was pretty cool.
Hashtag Wednesday or Wednesdays.
Hashtag
Wendy's.
Wendy's. Yeah.
Wendy's. We're looking for a sponsor.
There we go. We gotta get those fries and the Frosties, of course.
And Square Burgers are where. No, I'm sorry, I can't have Wendy's as a sponsor.
No,
Frosties are good and their fries are phenomenal, but the Square Burger, what are you doing?
Draw the line there. It's like,
it's probably easier for them.
Yeah,
but
you're gonna poke somebody's eye out with those corners.
Yeah,
I'm telling you,
ridiculous. I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet. It will now. You gave somebody the idea.
That's right. And just cut us in on the profits. Yeah, no, it's a fun event where you essentially rappel down a building, but you have to raise money first. And like last year, I had to raise $1,000, and this is it's kind of cool because the money you raise, like if you're in Lewis County, you can earmark that money to stay in Lewis County to help like nonprofits. So that's pretty fun. So last year I did it. Emily Munger from the chamber did it as well. So we raised some money to help nonprofits here. And
was that while her leg was broken?
No, and it had nothing to do with it. So just FYI, I'll just throw that one out there. But yeah, it's a pretty cool thing, and we like we say we try to raise. We get about $65,000 in requests every year for United Way from the different nonprofits. So you've got like the Level Food Pantry, you've got Double Play, Mountain View, all
great things for the community.
Yeah, I mean they're really great organizations that have great programs and initiatives. But the thing is, like we always say, like with the state budgets the way they are, with the federal budgets the way they are, the money's not coming in like it used to. Mm-hmm. So you really have to kind of rely on getting donations and gifts and whatnot. And so this kind of event developed a couple of years ago. They Bob Gorman from the United Way brought in this outfit who does this for a living. They set up rappelling events as fundraisers, and they brought it first to the Key Bank in Watertown and did it, which is a slightly smaller building. Mm-hmm. And then they ended up doing it on the Watertown Housing Authority building last year. Midtown Towers, that's the name. And so I tried it last year, and I've never done it before. And I was like, what the heck? Why not? Give it a shot, I mean, it's like totally safe. I'm like, I'm not gonna die going off the edge of the building. They're totally, you're hooked in and everything. And it was a pretty cool event. I liked it, and I liked the fact that I'm like, well, we get $65,000 in requests each year for the nonprofits. Mm-hmm. We can only do probably about half of that because we don't get a ton of donations. So, so we try to find ways to, other than go into businesses and asking for people to, donate as employees or asking for corporate gifts. We try to find fundraisers and other different things to raise the money. So think of it this way: like if we have only about $35,000 to give out of that $65,000 goal, if like last year was $1,000 limit you'd have to raise in order to go. This year they lowered it to $750. Mm-hmm. But if you had back when it was last year when it was $1,000, if you had 10 people sign up and they all raise the money, you have 10 grand that can come to Lewis County. 10 grand can do a lot of these programs. So that's why we got really passionate about getting involved and doing it. And this year we formed even though United Way has different campaign chairs, which I'm the campaign chair for Lewis County, each campaign chair is just one person. So last year in Lewis County, we formed a team. Mm-hmm. And so we have a lot of people in Lewis County who are kind of working together to, promote United Way, promote the nonprofits. And then when it comes to this Over the Edge event, we have several people who have already signed up to do this. So if we can get 10 people to sign up, we got at least $7,500 right there that can go towards stuff. Or if they go above and beyond. I'm going to try to raise, the same amount that I raised last year, even though the goal is $750.
Right.
It's just one of those cool things that, if everybody pitches in and tries it out, it's a fun event.
Yeah.
And honestly, come on, United Way covers the one up here covers Jefferson, Lewis, and St. Lawrence counties. I want Lewis County to kick Jefferson County's butt on this because we have a ton of people here who love to do fun things and who are really giving, have great hearts. So I'm thinking, okay, let's get Lewis County out there. Yep. Let's show them we know how to do it.
I want to see you dangle over the building.
Exactly. We'll see you dangle over a building. It's really cool, too. We're on Facebook. We have a fundraising page for Lewis County's United Way. And there's, I think it's United Way, UnitedWayNNY.org, I believe, or just Google United Way of Northern New York. And there's they'll show you videos on how to do it and what the whole process is. And it's really cool. So you're going to join me.
Okay. Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of heights, but for a good cause, I might.
There you go.
Might consider.
Yeah. See, and that's the thing we tell people. You don't have to necessarily have to participate, but if you want to donate, things like that, that's what we're putting the
plug
push
it.
And that's it, because getting the word out is like half the battle.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yep. So it's a fun thing. It's a fun, and that comes up in June. So June 9th, I think it is in Watertown.
Cool.
So yeah. I'm sure people will probably love to push me off a building sometimes, but don't worry, I'll be going over safely.
Charge extra for that.
Yeah, there is a little bit of a so maybe for the right donation, we'll see if we can arrange that. So
that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I could probably get.
I could probably raise a lot of money for myself on that.
Well, that's just from Heather. So
yeah, but that's all my money too.
That's right. So there you go. Yeah, but that's fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
And you did a thing a couple years ago when you were a bartender, right?
Yeah, I did a bartending night for what
was that for?
That was I'm trying to remember what it was now. It was because we did it at the Little Sisters. It used to be the Little Sisters Inn in Herrings, and I think it was either Big Brothers Big Sisters or something like that. It was a charity for kids. Oh, I think it was something for sending kids to camp. No, I remember what it is now. It was a summer program for youth in Carthage area. Mm-hmm. So that was fun. I mean, I'm not by any means a mixologist, but I can make a decent drink. Yep. So, and it was just it was for fun.
Yeah,
it was a good time.
So somebody looking to get involved in their community. Mm-hmm. Maybe that has never done anything, maybe moved to a new area, moved up here, and they want to get involved, want to donate some time and maybe even some money. Yeah. What would you suggest to get started?
I totally suggest something that you have a passion for, because if you have a passion for, say, working with people who are underprivileged, putting you in something where it's totally a different mission won't be the best thing. I'm a firm believer in lining people up with their skill sets and what they enjoy. So if you do want to help, people who are underprivileged, working with Lewis County Opportunities or working with, the food pantry, things like that, those are great ones to get involved with. But the biggest thing is just reach out. I mean, talk to if you're a churchgoer, talk to your church. If you are somebody who is involved in the business community or starting in the business community, reach out to the Chamber of Commerce. There's a lot of different ways to kind of get involved. I mean, we have lots of different, even if you want to help out with the blood drives and you want to sign people in. I mean, volunteers are always needed. And I've said that since day one. It's like we have a ton of people here. And one thing I think we need to do a better job of is coordinating the volunteers and getting them where they need to go. So if you are interested in any particular kind of, passion like that, try to find it. Try to line yourself up instantly with it. And if you want to reach out to an organization that does what you want to do, reach right out to them. I mean, I'm pretty sure most organizations are not going to turn away help.
Right.
And honestly, you feel. I think you feel really good when you do it. Mm-hmm. You get the sense that you're actually giving back and making a difference. So
where you live,
which
is super important.
Exactly. It's just like we talked about shopping local, local, and doing community service. That's not necessarily court ordered.
Right.
is a good thing.
Well, I think too, high school kids, a lot of getting into college, you need some volunteer.
Yeah.
It looks great, and it is great.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're helping somebody.
Yeah.
I was a Boy Scout growing up, and there was always volunteer projects that you could be part of.
Yeah.
And it's part of the requirements to be an Eagle Scout.
Right.
So it's good, especially to start out young.
Yeah.
And learn to volunteer and be part of your community, because everyone's a part of the community.
Yeah.
And pull your weight.
That's right. Yeah, we're always looking for volunteers for things. Cream Cheese Festival too.
Yeah,
that's one that we'll be pounding on.
You're never
doors.
lacking.
Yeah, we're never lacking on volunteers. We'll gladly take volunteers.
Yeah.
Kids, adults.
Even just to empty trash on the day of.
Well, that's just it. And that's the thing people don't always think about. There's all these things happen, but there's people behind it. Mm-hmm. And so yes, there may be one person who's helping out on a team of people changing the trash, but if you didn't have that person, your trash is overflowing. The way the festival looks would not be as good.
Right.
So it's one of those things where people have to remember that every little bit counts. So you can make a big difference just by even volunteering an hour.
Right. I didn't think I would be any help to the Cream Cheese Festival, but I know all the musicians in the area, and
that was a great connection.
Helped out.
That has helped, because the music we've had at the festival. I mean, and again, not slighting anything we've had in the past. It's been great because people have said, "Wow, I didn't know we had those."
It's just amazing to walk through town and hear, And now there's 2 stages. You can hear. And I thought for sure, I said, this is going to interfere with each other. You're going to be able to hear but no, the way that it's set up.
Yeah.
Lowville is perfect for that type of situation.
Yeah, it's perfect.
And it expands every year, doesn't it?
Yeah, it seems to grow and grow. Yeah, I mean, last year we tried to figure out a footprint on how big you want the festival to go. So we obviously start at the Four Corners and work up State Street. And we've had it go beyond Waters Terrace, like up to the school driveway.
Right.
And that seems to be a little too far, because then you're a little too outstretched.
Right.
So for the past year or two, I think now we've kind of dialed it back just before Waters Terrace.
Still, there's so much space.
Oh, there is.
What I love is you can if you have 2 kids and you got that double stroller, there is no problem.
Oh yeah,
you can get through.
Yeah.
It's not crowded.
Yeah.
It's
there's a lot of breathing room, and
and
it's nice, and there's a ton of vendors, and
as long as it doesn't pour rain like it did like the first 3 years of it.
Knock on wood.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. I remember that year. I think I was in the chamber booth, and Pat Brown was still giving us canoes for a raffle.
Right.
And the joke was we're just going to hop in the canoe and just go right down the street.
But you know what? I've been to a few of them where it was pouring rain and this place is still packed.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
And it just makes it a little messier with the cream cheese.
Yeah. Well, and hopefully it just washes it away. Yeah. Oh, that wall can be the cream cheese mural. It's both ways. I mean, whether it gets washed away or if it's really hot that day. Like last year was hot, and cream cheese in the sun.
But you know what amazes me every year is I've always lived in town, minus last year, walking to work at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning the next day, and everything is clean.
Yeah.
It's like nothing happened.
Yeah.
It amazes me the amount of effort.
Yeah.
And it's all done, and it's all local people.
Yeah.
They put this big, huge festival on.
Yeah.
and clean it up before you even knew anything happened.
They are dedicated. Our group is amazing. I mean, they're out there with push brooms, out there getting all the, the garbage bags together, and then inevitably one of the garbage bags rips and you've got to rebag it. That's not fun. But, and that's the whole goal, is like, we have to get these streets picked up and clean, because, the whole goal is to make it look like a festival never happened.
Right.
And
so that people can get back to their lives, get back to work, get back to using their driveway again.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Luckily, there are very few houses that it blocks off.
That's true.
And those people are really cool.
Yeah. We are lucky that we have, homeowners and business owners who are very supportive, and know that this is a one-day event, and it may be a mild inconvenience, but look at the amount of people you bring into town, the money that you bring into the community. It makes a big difference. So
awesome. Yeah. Thanks for coming over today.
Thanks for having me. Yeah. I'll be over tomorrow for coffee at 4 a.m.
So plugs. Where are you? How can people get a hold of you?
Very easy to find. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. I'm pretty much chained at my desk at the Journal half the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, very easy to get a hold of. Reach out to me, and we have, like I said, we have the United Way Facebook page. We have the Cream Cheese Festival Facebook page, and I'm involved with the chamber as much as I possibly can be too. So yeah, I'm usually, if you're downtown in Lowville, I'm usually in the Journal. I'm almost always there. So
working hard.
Or hardly working now.
Yeah. har.
There's that bad dad joke.
You had to throw one in.
Well, yeah, shout out to all my peeps. Is that how that goes? I don't know.
I think so.
I think I just embarrass them even more now. So that's
I'm
great.
Not sure. I'm a dad too.
Yeah. So yeah, we're clueless.
So probably. Yeah. We're embarrassing ourselves.
Sounds about right.
Thanks for coming over.
Thank you, sir.
Jeremiah Papineau. Is that right?
Oui. Yeah.
All right.
Please edit.
Thanks for listening to Tony and Other People, a podcast. Questions, comments, concerns for Tony's overall well-being? Want to be part of the show? Find us on Facebook or email us at tonyandotherpeople@gmail.com.